Ally Burnett from the Buyer's Box. Today we have a very special guest and one of my favorite people, Nikki.
Hello, thank you for having me again.
Thank you so much. For anybody that missed last episode, can you share a little bit about you, your background, your career, and how you became the conversion queen?
Yes, so I work with Digital Maverick and Easy Home Search, which both I really believe in. One works as a lead generation site for teams, allowing every single person to look at homes in their area. Some of them want to sell properties, some of them want to get pre-approved. But either way, the perk of Easy Home Search has always been that we only work with one exclusive team for one county, so those leads are way happier. And then of course with Digital Maverick, we work with teams across the country. So I am regularly coaching agents and ISAs and focusing especially on lead generation.
Yeah, and Nikki's been working with our team for about a year now. We really focus on conversion because our team is heavily focused on online PPC lead generation. We get our leads from all sorts of different places. We have some leads that have been cultivating in our system 6, 7 years now at this point, and we use Follow Up Boss. And so whenever we're loading up the dialer, you never know what you're going to get. And today I really want to talk about objections.
Heck yeah.
So objections are the number one, in my opinion, the number one hang up why people never get the conversation moving to that very typical LP mama piece. Most real estate agents are thinking from an order taker perspective of where's the location? What's the price? Do you have an agent you're working with? And all those things are good and we need to get those things. But if you can't get through the gate, you're not getting through any of those other things. So we really focus on objections. So today I want to do something a little bit fun. Nikki and I did not discuss this prior to the podcast. So I am just going to throw some objections at you, Nikki, and that way everybody can kind of hear like what you would say. If I have something wild or crazy, like I'll throw mine in there, but it's going to be like 90% the Nikki objections.
Awesome. I love it. I'm going to say one thing to y'all before we get started on objections. Y'all, having the lead earlier in the game is better. It just is. So where a lot of us are afraid that, oh, we've caught them too early, the main differentiator between top agents and not top agents is that every top agent is thinking, what happens if I don't talk to the lead? And every agent who is not that agent is thinking, uh-oh, what happens if I reach out too soon? So you can adopt one of those mindsets, but if you would think, what happens if I don't talk with them? All of those leads that you're getting online, it's going to be a whole different conversation. So let's do the objections.
Okay. And I always jokingly say to Andrew, I'm like, no lead left behind, no lead left behind.
Yes, I agree. Make the most of the conversation you have. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. We're just looking.
Oh, beautiful. What are you looking for?
Okay, good.
And so just a reminder, y'all, you are looking for people who are looking. You are browsing for people who are browsing. It's not an objection. It's a green flag because if I get Ally any later in the conversation, she has an agent. She's already under contract. She's closed. Just looking means perfect. I got you at the right time. Perfect what you're looking for.
Yeah, because just looking is not a no. I think a lot of agents take the just looking as a no, or it's really just a not right now. I'm not moving anytime soon.
Okay, perfect. Well, I tell you what, I'll continue to send you listings as we get closer. I only want to show you what you're interested in. I'll move at your pace. When the time comes, are you thinking an investment property or a place for yourself?
Boom. And then it's like, because what's so great about Nikki's responses is they're never a yes or no. Like if you really pay attention to what Nikki puts out there, it's never a yes or a no. It's a this or a that. And like you have to answer a this or a that.
Yeah, and it's lower pressure presenting this or that, which is why at the beginning of a conversation, it's two options. So we're not overwhelming them. It's way too much for me to start and say, so what has you looking in the first place? That requires too creative, too much of a dig inside somebody. So we're presenting it as the easy one to start off with so we can build a cadence towards I ask, you answer. Now let's get into deeper questions.
100%. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. The interest rates are too high.
Yeah. Is there anything else besides interest rates that has you waiting as of now?
Nope, just interest rates.
So to clarify, Ally, if you were comfortable with interest rates at that time, you'd be ready to make a move. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So tell me, what sort of interest rate would you be comfortable with?
I really loved when they were like 2.75 back in COVID.
Oh, I hear you, man. That 2.75 was like manna falling from the heavens. I don't think we'll see that again, but if I could get you, let's say, to a 5%, is that something you'd be interested in?
Maybe if it was the right house.
Okay, that makes
Great.
sense to me. Have you considered any sort of new construction by chance?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in a cookie cutter.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And tell me, it's possible we can offset just by being mindful of your monthly payment. What sort of monthly payment would you be comfortable with?
2000.
Okay, and do you know any ways for you to get a lower interest rate?
No.
Okay, and now I solve. Now I solve. And now I say, okay, the reason I ask and I explain the value of new constructions, how some of them won't be that cookie cutter. I'll ask what she's looking for. I'll tell her the time that I helped somebody else in the same scenario who didn't know that they could get a lower interest rate because the seller could pay to buy down points. The solutions are the same, but good objection handlers look like good questions. So I can't just dump onto somebody who's possibly been holding on to this since COVID and say, hey, here's the solution. Are you ready for my 30-second spiel? It has to feel customized because people love what feels customized to them. And notice that I said anything else. We start with anything else because for a lot of people, that's not the only thing. They're also saving. They're also worried about the market. Their husband isn't on board. And so by asking anything else, I'm going to reveal all that the concerns are before I just tackle something without really knowing what's going on in the full picture.
100%. And I think another similar objection to that one is when somebody says, well, and I don't even know if it's really truly an objection, but it's, well, I don't really know if I even want to go to Myrtle Beach. I also want to go to, maybe North Carolina, maybe Florida. Like, and it's still that discovery, that fact finding, like figuring out what that person wants.
If somebody says that they're deciding between multiple areas that you don't service, I will ask and I'll say, okay, for you, how will you know which one feels like home? Or if it's for a second property, then I'll say, okay, and for you, how will you know which place you want to spend part of the year in? And by doing so, we're going to walk through every single one. The mistake is that an agent says, here's why you should choose Myrtle Beach. Here's the reason that you want Myrtle Beach and you're selling, and that's old school and that doesn't work. So instead, if you can hear their own reasoning, you can tailor why this place does or doesn't work. It is not your responsibility to make every single person into a buyer. It is your responsibility that if they're choosing your area, that they choose to work with you. And so once I hear why Florida, why so-and-so, Florida could be better for you. All your family's in Florida. You've been out there before. You've never been to Myrtle Beach. Maybe it makes more sense for you to be there. But I'm overly invested in your result. I'm not overly invested in my result.
Correct. And we have teenagers at home, so they use this phrase, don't be a pick me girl. So
My cousin says that.
that's so funny. Yeah, so real estate agents out there, don't be a pick me, okay? You really have to, you have to care. Like I think most real estate agents do care, or they probably wouldn't be real estate agents, especially full-time real estate agents, because real estate ain't easy. So, and it requires a lot of emotional investment, time investment. Like you have to figure out what this person wants. They're all over the place, that sort of thing. Okay, we're almost running out of time, so one last objection I want to cover is, well, I don't know if my husband Andrew really wants to move there too.
Okay. How does Andrew feel about this move?
No clue. We haven't talked about it.
Okay. And what do you think would make Andrew feel comfortable with this move?
I don't know. Probably lower mortgage payment or something.
Okay. Anything else besides the lower mortgage payment?
Probably. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. My husband, he really likes things to stay the same. This would be a big move for us. We've always lived here. It would be a big move.
So then I'm curious, why wouldn't you just stay where you're at?
Well, I hate the cold. It's gross and disgusting up here. There's nothing to do. And And in our case, like coming out of character a little bit, like a lot of people might mention that they have grandkids or people that they want to bring to warmer weather. So we hear that a lot, like within that objection.
Mhm. Okay, and when do you plan on having this conversation with him?
Well, maybe when if I find a house I like, and then I could bring it up to him.
All right, have y'all been out here before?
Yeah, every summer.
Okay. Now, notice that I asked, I don't know, 6 questions before I present any solutions. The mistake is that an agent jumps and says, well, then all of us should hop on a call so that I can talk with all of you. You're going in blind. So instead, let's say that the only question I left out, if Allie had said instead that she said she never spoke with her husband, but if she had spoke with him even once about it, right? I would say, when was the last time that y'all talked about this? Right? That's helping me to prepare for the conversation before I go into solution. My solution at the very end, once I have everything, is to say, okay, based on what I've uncovered, he wants a lower rate. It sounds like it's really important that y'all feel financially comfortable before you come out here. See, this is exactly why we should meet. Or he says, Andrew says that he wants this only if it's with a golf course, only if it's all of the information you use is or learn is what you're going to tailor into your solution. But I have to ask so it feels customized and I can tailor it to them.
Absolutely, 100%. Has anybody ever been to a restaurant and they're like, let me tell you about all of our dinner specials, and you only went there for dessert, because the server never asked you, like, hey, what brings you in?
Yeah.
Because that, it saves the relationship, it builds a rapport because the other person, in this scenario I'm bringing up, the server is like genuinely wondering, hey, what brings you to the restaurant today? Happy to see you. And
Mhm.
so we want to think that way when we're talking to leads. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I love talking with Nikki. I love talking objections. If there's any objections that we didn't cover, because I know there's a bunch, send me a message, send me a text, and then maybe we can do it again. We can cover it. I'm also going to release a objection guide with a couple things that we face and our team faces. And again, thank you so much, Nikki, for coming in and being on our show again.
Yes, thank you again for having me. Y'all listen to what Allie just said. You're more likely to tip your waiter the more that they customize it to you, right? It's the same. They're less likely to argue with you about commission. They're less likely to have problems with you so long as they feel heard and understood. So really take that to heart as you're listening to others. Thank you for having me, Allie.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on the Buyer's Box, and I will see you guys next episode.